powerful story about the connection of culture and heritage combined with the importance of combating climate change. In that work, it can be very draining, and leaders have to rise up. And a leader that has had to rise up in her community, Queen Quet, has to carry that burden of going and talking about why culture is so critical to our survival. I'm going to hand it over to Queen Quet because there are two things that her and I battle. We battle racism. We also have to battle people believing us. So Queen Quet, I want you to tell us about you, your journey, your story, as it connects to being that leader and having to carry the weight of community stewardship.
Thank you. Chile Jordan, get away. Chile Jordan, I want to cross over to see my Lord. Down there, we are there for mission. And these islands on the Chile Jordan, see how it's like that. And my sister said, he was a yelling. And I believe it. Now I believe it. Until indigenous. I believe it. Until our ancestors were there. In the 1500s, 1600s, 1700s, 1800s. All by mission. And they held the soil down and see how the soil. When we water, tree Carolina, water rise. When we water, when the hurricane, the kind of thing like that. Right of us now. See that. All around me, and things like that. But all they have to do, look by this here, and see that blue, for that indigo, the ancestors that big up a plant, and red of us for the water that bring we, and the water will take me back. So this year did, and that water take me back. It take me to easier place like this year. For we have a wine, but as a place for joining with people like the brother here, who are islanders, like the sister in Bakaya. For we let others around know. If I don't know about standing women and what we teach women to do this way, we know your language too now. Many times not because our ancestors chose this language, but because we had to now adorn ourselves with this language and with other people's culture and get away from wading in that water where we say, I want to cross over for sea, my God. God did it in the water. And if it wasn't for God being in the water of the sea islands, my ancestors wouldn't have thrived and survived instead of being destroyed. First in the Middle Passage, a place in a space that now more people are thinking about in a different way. They're thinking about it scientifically while we live it spiritually. And they've figured out that there's this place there now called the Blake Plateau. Mm-hmm. These knolls that they've named for someone. This reef called Richardson Reef. These places and spaces, the one that stuck with me was the Million Mounds. Because I thought about the millions of Africans that had to cross it. And the bones that lie in it, that the coral grows from my ancestors and how their souls are in it. So when we wade in the water now, when we cross over the water, we're crossing over those souls that many times people don't stop to think about when they come to the Carolinas from Jacksonville, North Carolina, to Jacksonville, Florida, and lay out on the beach to sun. They don't think about how for us that's not fun. It's not a place of recreation. It's a place of spiritual rejuvenation in the Gullah Geechee Nation. And so for many, they think only, especially during ocean month, of only the ocean. But I live in it because I live in the Atlantic on the Sea Islands. So I can't forget the salt marsh. That one way I might look and see the Atlantic, and the other way I see the creek yonder. And either one we cast in that thing, but get things for them one. But what about feeding our souls? And so the South Atlantic Salt Marsh Initiative is one that we're working on as well to protect and restore 1 million acres of salt marsh in the Southeast. But what water will also come together nearby is the ocean. And someone until have never been there, someone until have never yet been to Quet, Bangladesh. I'm sure before today, some of you never heard Gullah before, but you heard it today. And even if you never get to the Sea Islands, I want you to think about us, think about our ancestors, and think about the life in the ocean that's below and also in the shorelines above, and how we link together. And to help you a little bit with that, I brought more of the Sea Islands with me besides the heat y'all have been feeling. I got that in some kids too. Not trying to cause heat out on the fat kid in DC. But I want to take you to the Sea Islands now with me. Take a short journey.
It is the blessing of God. We be Gullah Geechee anointed people. We know we are anointed to be on this coast in a hurricane zone, to have survived chattel enslavement, to have survived Jim Crow era, to have survived the racism of today, and still be landowners, still be proudly and authentically black folks that are Gullah Geechee.
To stand out on the marsh and breathe it in, it's refreshing, it's rejuvenating, it's renewing. But for many people of African descent, it's reconnecting. That grass is called salt marsh. It's a place of nurturing. It's not only a nursery, but it's also a place that we go to as native Gullah Geechees to just renew our spirits, renew our souls, to just literally pause. In the same place where our ancestors paused. It's Jacksonville, North Carolina. It's Jacksonville, Florida. If you were to really look closely, you will see all these little dots. Those are the Sea Islands where Gullah Geechee culture rooted itself from the 1500s because African people were brought over from the motherland, enslaved on the Sea Islands, but many intermarried with indigenous people that were already there, the Kusabo, the Yemisi, the Cree, the Adisto. And so in my bloodline, like many Gullah Geechee people's bloodlines, we have both African and indigenous ancestry. The land is our family. The waterways are our bloodline. Gullah Geechee culture is inextricably tied to the land and the waterways here in the Sea Islands. And thereby, by maintaining the very environment that makes up a Sea Island, you maintain the Gullah Geechee cultural community because our heritage is living in that environment. Some people say, I thought your people were gone. And I said, well, look here, we'd have been here, and we in the grind away tall. And so, till I leave, we'll still be pushing to educate more people and to empower my people so that people hear us, they see us, and they keep what we have protected and love it the way we do.